any illusion that we had that progress is inevitable or the change that we need is going to come of its own accord, shattered in moments like these, and that is upon every single one of us. There is no luxury in this democracy of sitting this one out. Whether it is gun violence, whether it is many of the issues that we discussed today.
Okay, so that is video from inside of the Walmart from one of our viewers, Sylvia Salcedo there, and this is an image that we were sent on social media. It is purported to be the gunman. We are still working to authenticate this.
If you look up the El Paso, Texas shooting on YouTube, you're going to get authoritative sources. Every one of them on the top. You're going to get news sources like Fox News, ABC, CBS, the Communist News Network. They're going to give you their slant and their spin about what they think happened or what they allege happened. And they're going to introduce into the collective minds of the masses their little sound bites and their sound bits and their euphemisms. One of the things that quickly takes a nation down is the redefinition of terms through euphemisms. I already watched Beto O'Rourke do it. While he was somewhere giving a speech, they told him about what happened in El Paso, and he's already talking about gun legislation and we have to end gun violence.
Gun violence.
Gun violence.
Look, guys, if this thing really went down the way they say it went down, and I saw the freeze frame, I didn't see any video, I just saw 2 freeze frames of some guy with, it looked like he had ear protection, he was wearing a black shirt, and it looked like, of course, he's got, and it looks AK-47 style to me, but you got this assault style rifle that mainstream corporate news and government sources want to ban. So you got the villainization of a firearm. The firearm does not commit the violence, but they're going to call it gun violence. It's not violence done by somebody who's possibly on pharmaceutical drugs, as 90% of them are. They're not going to delve into the psychology of this guy and find out that he's the product of a single parent home without the father, which most of them are. But what they're going to do is they're going to villainize the weapon. And of course, what happens with that is they're going to, and we know this is second verse, same as the first. This is nothing new. I'm not saying anything new. They're going to villainize a weapon and tell you, well, we need to confiscate the weapons to keep society safe. And that's the exact opposite of what you want to do, because if you look at some of the footage, and I've already seen some of the footage, it looked like somebody was in it looked like it might have been in a restaurant. There's some crumbs on the ground or whatever. Somebody's got a camera and they're down on the ground and you hear the gunshots, in the distance. That's the last thing you want to do. Is the only thing you have to arm yourself is a video camera, and to protect yourself is the bodies of all your other friends, while you wait for a madman to come and just shoot you full of holes. Ridiculous. What if politicians and corporate teleprompter reading news parasites, and I use news loosely, if they really cared about humanity, if they really had logic and common sense, what they would be saying is, okay, guys, enough is enough. We don't want you guys to be victims anymore. You need to find a fire. We're going to drop all gun legislation. We're gonna actually stand by what we say. We're gonna step out of the way of the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. It's called the Bill of Rights. We're gonna step out of the way and say, hey, you obviously have an inherent right to keep and bear arms. So what you need to do is, and we're not gonna force you to do this, but we highly suggest it because we love you and we care about your safety, and we don't want this to happen ever again to anybody. I want you, let's say I'm a politician or I'm a teleprompter reading news puppet, and I just automatically wake up. What you would say if you cared about people is, you don't want to end up like that person under that restaurant table with just a camera. You need to find a firearm. You need to learn it, study it, learn how to use it, learn how to fire it. Put a bunch of rounds through that chamber and carry this thing with you wherever you go. This is your insurance policy. This is your best chance for survival. We don't want you to be victims, but you know why they don't do that? You know why they want to enact further gun legislation and pile on mountains and mountains of gun control laws. There's your euphemism. It's not gun control, it's people control. They want to control you. They want you to believe that you're a victim and there's no way that you can possibly protect yourself without government. Guys, it's common sense. Let's say you're one of these people in El Paso in a Walmart or wherever, and the guy's coming down to aisle 7 where you are, you're just minding your own business, picking out spaghetti noodles and Prego spaghetti sauce, and you're loading your cart up so that you can go home and spend time with your family, and some madman comes in and you hear people shooting the place up. Well, you revert to your training. All that training, that you have behind your belt, that you were encouraged by your politicians to do, and you were encouraged by mainstream sources to do. You got all this training, you got your firearm, you're ready to go. So you position yourself, and you have a plan, and you don't panic because your training just took over. It kicked in. You're not a victim. But government wants you to be a victim. They want you to rely on them. Mainstream media wants you to be a victim because victims are the ones who click on the news, and we're going to click. You fall for the clickbait, and you want your mind to be controlled, and you want somebody to take care of you. Guess what? You want to be taken care of? The best person to take care of you is you, the man in the mirror. And you can tell when a politician, a political parasite, and a corporate media talking head, so-called news person, you can tell they could give a damn about you because they take you around the horn one more time. It's gun violence. We got to stop gun violence. We got to beg our politicians to keep us safe by writing more laws that don't work. Laws empower criminals and create victims. And gun-free zones are victim zones, and they're slaughter zones. That's all they are. Look at the stats. From 1950 to 2017, 95 to 98% of all mass murders have taken place in gun-free criminal empowerment zones. Duh! What does this mean? Take away the gun-free zones. And you want to empower the people? Stop banning firearms. Stop enacting people control. This is all about control. If you don't want to be controlled, if you want to be empowered, grab one of the best inventions known to man. God may have made man, but Samuel Colt made them equal. This puts the weakest woman, the most frail grandma, on equal footing with any 350, 400 pound, 500 pound assailant. It puts you on equal and greater power footing. And it puts you in the driver's seat and keeps you from being a victim. How do we know mainstream media puppets and political parasites don't care about you? Because they want to continue having your mind on a course of victimhood to where you're relying on the government and the mainstream media. Deceive, divide, distract, and conquer. If you guys enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give them a thumbs up. Share them with everybody you know, and for God's sake, empower yourself. If not for you, do it for your family. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.